And right now we're seeing some new evidence after the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump at his golf course in West Palm Beach. The Justice Department says that suspect left behind a letter detailing the plan. Meanwhile, the suspect is back in court today for a detention hearing.
Right now, he faces 2 firearm charges, and Local 10's Trent Kelly joins us live outside in West Palm Beach with the very latest. Trent.
Yeah, that's right. In fact, that detention hearing you just mentioned is still underway here inside the federal courthouse in West Palm Beach. It comes as authorities revealed today that the suspect in this case allegedly authored a letter several months ago stating his intention to kill the former president. Prosecutors using that evidence in court to try and convince the judge in this case to keep the suspect behind bars.
Keep walking!
Investigators releasing new evidence today against the man accused of trying to assassinate former President Donald Trump last week on his West Palm Beach golf course. It comes as the suspect, 58-year-old Ryan Wesley Ruth, appeared in a federal courtroom today in West Palm Beach for a pretrial detention hearing. In a new court filing, prosecutors reveal Ruth allegedly wrote a letter stating his intention to kill the former president. The handwritten note left outside of an undisclosed home months earlier inside a box that also contained ammunition, a metal pipe, and 4 phones.
It's easier for this guy to get bail than it is for Diddy. Diddy offered $50 million. They said no. For him, they only giving him gun charges. They got to give him something more than gun charges. It has to. And then the second thing that I'm wondering is why was it so difficult, or why is it so difficult for them to find him and catch them prior to the Secret Service actually seeing him in a chain link fence on a golf course? You know what I'm saying? It's still not adding up, because if he dropped this letter in a box containing ammunition, a metal pipe, 4 phones, and various letters, months prior to actually getting caught on the golf course trying to carry out his plan and execute it, and it's a handwritten letter, and then they're able to find the handwritten letter and tie it back to him in particular, it smells of conspiracy to me anyway. But let me continue to read this.
The letter reading, quote, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and gave it all the gumption I could muster. It's up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete it." In the same filing, authorities say Ruth also authored a book about Ukraine and world affairs, writing that he, quote, "must take part of the blame for the person we elected for our next president that ended up being brainless. Iran, I apologize. You are free to assassinate Trump as well as me for that error in judgment." Prosecutors using the new evidence to convince a judge that Ruth should remain in federal custody until the outcome of his trial. Ruth, who is a convicted felon, is currently facing 2 federal gun possession charges.
I think this is an offense that should merit a life in prison.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis last week launching his own state investigation, arguing more serious charges should be considered. But in an appearance on This Week in South Florida yesterday, the state attorney for Palm Beach County says the 2 competing investigations could lead to future conflict.
And the federal government is, according to the governor, compromised because they are prosecuting Donald Trump at the same time. So that could lead to turf wars. That was my concern with all this.
Now, we also learned today that when investigators searched Ruth's car last week, they also found 2 additional license plates plus 6 cell phones, one of which they say was used to search the internet for ways to get from Palm Beach County to Mexico. They say a passport was also found inside his vehicle as well. Again, that detention hearing still underway here inside the courthouse behind me. We have a crew inside as we speak monitoring these proceedings, and we'll bring you the very latest as soon as that hearing comes to an end. For now, though, that is the latest live outside the federal courthouse in West Palm Beach. I'm Trent Kelly, Local 10.
Let me read the letter real quick. Let me pull this up. So this is the letter. This is the clearest image that I can find for the letter. It says, "Dear world, this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I am so sorry I failed you." He was really hoping to die and become a martyr, huh? "I tried my best and gave it all of the gumption I could muster. It is up to you to finish the job." He talking about to the whole world. He really hoping to become a martyr. and I will offer $150,000 to whoever can complete the job. How can you do that? Especially if you failed. Everyone across the globe, from the youngest to the oldest, know that Trump is unfit to be anything, much less a U.S. president, even though he's already been a president before. Okay. U.S. president must, at bare minimum, embody the moral fabric that is America and be kind. Sounds like you've been taking the Kamala Harris course. Kind, caring, and selfless, and always stand up for humanity. Trump fails to understand any of, and I guess that's the end of the letter. At least that's the end of what we were able to acquire as far as a letter, to try to figure out why this guy was there and how he did it in the first place. I'm still confused how he was able to find out that Trump was there, camp out overnight, that nobody was able to see him, no heat signatures, no cell phone towers pinging off. He just able to be there. And if it just so happened to not be the Secret Service that was, canvassing the area prior to prevent this from happening, are we then listening and having a conversation about the fact that Donald Trump was assassinated after a first failed attempt? It would have been the worst situation ever. I'm still reeling from the idea, and I think that the world has just gotten over it too easy, that his ear was hit in an assassination attempt. And so I just think that we just taking this too light, too serious, or too light and not serious enough for the former president and the future president. And obviously most people will address him as Mr. President or the future president because they know that he is going to win. Furthermore, I don't care about being nice and kind, because the people that seem like they're the nicest and the kindest on the outside are some of the ones that wind up letting all of the migrants into the country and refuse to answer the question. They've made some of the worst decisions that's on the behalf of the people. And I think that those are the ones that should not even have been put in a position to run for office in the first place by the people, because they wasn't, and they was not selected for that in the first place, right? So when I see certain things happening in society and I see things play out, I'm kind of bothered. I'm kind of puzzled by it, because it still don't make no sense for me. They arguing about this guy not being able to get bail. They done already made a decision on Diddy not to get bail, and he offered $50 million and he had some freak-offs. So, I'm confused. It's a little puzzling to me. I'm still trying to understand how the justice system works in 2024, because obviously it's a little bit different than it used to be. And then we're trying to figure it out from there. So I'm curious as to what y'all think. Make sure y'all let me know in the comments. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Tap into the Patreon. I got a video that's dropping today. And then last but not least, make sure you get your tickets to come and kick it with me and my friends in person. I will be in Atlanta on November 2nd before the election, flying back to make sure that my vote is casted in person. And then I'm going to be in Detroit on December 14th, and then I may do a Patreon meetup after that. But let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think that we're taking this serious enough? That the United States is taking it serious enough? And in any other situation, had this happened to anybody else or any previous former president, would this guy be thrown under the jail for the rest of his life? Or would he have an opportunity to try to become famous, get his manifesto out, and then we see what happened from there? Let me know. I love you. I appreciate you. Again, I think that you are the greatest audience on earth. If you have not already, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and then I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.